Do you live stream, do podcasts, or just do talking head videos and want really good sound, some good audio with your video? Well, stick around. I'll give you some tips and we'll talk about different things we can do. What's up, blind viewers? How's everybody doing? All right, we have talked about all kinds of different things. Some videos, I'll put a link up here to them. We started at the beginner level with just a laptop or a webcam. And then we went on to USB mics. And then we talked about taking your camera and your cell phone outside, out and about. All about the audio aspect. Now we're back in the studio, but we're really going to go, I guess you could say, high tech and more towards the professional end of it. Now we're not talking about USB mics anymore. We're talking about the real deal. That's right, the XLR cables. Now, if you've ever seen anybody perform live in concert or in a club or even on TV, and you see them microphones plugged in, they're plugged in with one of these bad boys. So I guess the first place to start is with the microphone. Now there are there's more, but there's really two basic types that we'll talk about. And that is dynamic and condenser. First type we'll talk about is dynamic. A dynamic microphone is the ones you usually see singers at concerts and stuff using. They're tough, they're cheap, cheaper, they're not very sensitive, and they're really directional. Now you often see these things with bands, especially rock bands, because you can drop them, smash them, throw them in a case, kick them across the stage, hit them with a guitar or a drumstick, and they're still going to work. They're really durable microphones, but they're not very sensitive. That's why you often see singers with their mouth, right on that microphone. Some put it right on they sing right on the mic because they're not very sensitive. Because when you're on stage and you have your mic facing you, the back of it is facing usually hundreds of thousands of people. You don't want to hear them, and you don't want to hear the guitarists and the drummer behind you. So you want a microphone that's not real sensitive, but it will pick up your voice. So it's very tight, directional. They call it a cardioid pattern because it kind of looks like a heart. So it doesn't pick up a whole lot here, but out here, and it doesn't go far, but it's right there. So hold that mic right up to you. That is a dynamic mic. Then there is a condenser mic. Now, condenser mics are usually more expensive. They are coming down in price over the years, but they are more expensive. They're fragile, but they're also more clear, more balanced, and kind of sweet sounding. Now, a lot of times you might see these in a recording studio because it's in a controlled environment and you can hang that thing and, you can get really good vocals out of it, or they're good for hanging overhead, say if you're making a drum set. So it can pick up cymbals and all kinds of stuff it doesn't have to be right on it. It can pick up a wide range. And some of them even can be switched from one side to the other side to omnidirectional. So they're more versatile, but they're really, really sensitive, and they will pick up all the noise in the room. Now, the other thing about condenser mics that we want to go over is they need phantom power. Yeah, it's 48 volts, or known as phantom power. So they need some kind of source for power because it's electronics inside. That's why they're fragile. There's a lot more going on inside the microphone. As where a dynamic mic, you just plug it into XLR and away you go. And there's not all those electronics and everything in there. That's why you can whip them across the stage and everything. So that's pretty much the big difference between the two. So now we want to go and we're going to figure out what kind of mic we need, what kind of mic we want, what is the environment, what are we doing? Well, if we're doing things like this, talking head videos, or podcast or live streaming, you usually don't want things that are going to pick up the entire room noise. You want that directional mic to get rid of computer hum, maybe light hum, or whatever else is going on in the room. So you're gonna want a dynamic microphone. Now, I started out with a cheap microphone. Didn't spend much at all. Started out with this thing. What is it? It's a newer one of the, I forget, something. Blind guy can't see the number, but it was a newer. It was okay to start out with. Definitely better than any old camera microphone. Definitely better than a webcam microphone. So yes, it was a step up in audio quality. And then I went to a different mic. Then I upgraded and I got this MXL 770. Now it's not too bad, but it is a lot better than the one before. Definitely a lot better than any old webcam. But not as good as the next one. But this one is, again, you have to check it out. It is directional. So you have to speak into this side. Because if you turn it around and talk into the back, this is what you get. See, you can't talk. You have to know your microphone. You have to speak into the correct portion of it. Just like I can't talk into the top of it either, unlike the next one. But yes, so you can progress and go up in quality, which means you go up in price. So if you want to start out with good, spend the money and get the good. That's right. Take that AdSense and that other moldy money you got and spend it on what you need for your stuff if this is what you want to do. Get some quality stuff. Then I upgraded to the Shure SM7B. That's the one I'm speaking on right now. Now this is a cardioid dynamic microphone. It has that nice little heart-shaped pattern of pickup. It's not real sensitive. It's it's sensitive. It picks up a lot of stuff. Very good mic. It does not require phantom power, but if you hook it to something that has phantom power, it is not bothered. It's not affected in any way by the phantom power. Now, this microphone, unlike these, the label is the front. So you have to speak into this side. The back side is that side. This one, you speak into the top. The other good thing about these type microphones, the dynamic microphones, is if you just speak normally, you get right up on it and you just talk. And it's very well, you can tune them in really nice. They have bass roll-offs if you want, and all different things to use. When you're tweaking them on the border or in your DAW or anything, you can get them to sound really, really nice. Or if you're a yeller, all you gotta do is back up and talk, because a lot of people talk like this and I don't, but yeah, I'm not a yeller. I'm not a screamer. So, I get right up on it. I don't want to yell all day. All right. So we figured out the mic we want. Now, most mics, they will come with what is known as a shock mount. This is the shock mount. All it is the mount that the microphone slides into in the center here. And it is on like little rubber bands almost, and it keeps it floating around in there. So if you have it on a mic stand or a boom arm or whatever, if it gets bumped and jostled around, it kind of floats around in there and doesn't go boom, 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 boom. You don't hear every little noise. That's what the shock mount does. And most of them do come with their own sized shock mount. And we are going to need a pop filter. Yes, a pop filter. Do tell, what is a pop filter? Well, a pop filter is a thing that keeps from you blowing into it. It's called plosives. So if you're saying Peter Piper picked a peck of pepper, all that, yeah, it keeps all that away. And there are different types. This one has a built-in one. It also has a big giant one that comes with it, kind of like a windscreen, a foamy windscreen, but it helps with the plosives. I also have this type that slides over the microphone like this. This is the part you speak into, and it breaks up your breath, so it's not going right into the mic. It goes into this first. And there is this type, which clips onto say a boom arm or something like that, and you put this in front of the microphone, so you speak through it, then into the mic. It dissipates your breath sounds, which make the sound. So that's just a few little things you're going to need. And then, of course, like we discussed earlier, you're going to need XLR cables or a mic cable, a real one, not a USB cable. However, they do now make this Shure in a USB style microphone. I don't suggest that. If you're already going past that, if you like the USB types, that's okay. But yeah, if you're stepping up and upgrading, yeah, you want to get away from that USB style and get into a good XLR microphone. All right, so now we talked about the mic, the shock mount and everything, whether you want a mic stand, a little one to sit on your desk, a big one, a boom arm, an arm that clamps to your desk and swings over. That's all personal preference. So you got your mic, you got a way to mount it and stick it in front of your face because that's where you need it. So now we got to get it into the computer somehow. Well, you're going to need a mixing board. That's right. You're going to need something to plug that XLR cable into because your computer just doesn't have that. Now, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh, a big mixing board. No. See, everybody has a YouTube channel. Everybody has a podcast. And I do mean everybody. I think in the delivery room, when children are born now, they're handed an iPhone and YouTube login because everybody on the planet has a YouTube channel, right? Okay. So these companies know that. So they're making all kinds of mics. They're making USB mics and this and that. They're making all kinds of junk and they're throwing it all at you and they're bombarding you with all kinds of stuff. That's why I'm trying to help you out a little bit. So they are making tiny little mixing board, like 2-channel mixing boards, little 4 channels and 6 and everything. So you can get a little 2-channel mixing board. They're not that expensive. Now I'm not talking $20. You're going to have to spend some money, but they're not that expensive. And you can plug 2 microphones into it. You have your fader, your sliders for your overall volume. You have your master volume. You have your adjustments for your highs, your mids, and your lows. You have all that stuff. A lot of them have all kinds of goodies, little buttons you can program sound effects in, all kinds of stuff. Do your research, check them out. I know Yamaha has some really nice little ones. Rode has some. So just check them out, see if it fits your needs. And a lot of them, of course, because of the age we're in, they already have that little interface built in. So you have your little mixing board, you plug your XLR mics into them, and then they already have a cable for USB to go right into your computer. Now, I'm old school. I've been doing this crap a long time, so got all kinds of equipment here, but if you have an older mixing board that doesn't have that USB plug on it, you're going to have to get something to go between the mixing board and the computer. And that's a little interface. They got, again, there's a whole bunch of them out there. All you need is some 2 1/4-inch cables that plug into your main out, go into your interface, and then your interface has your USB out. And that'll do all the wizardry in that little box, and it'll stick it into your computer through the USB cable, and ta-da. Now again, I just said I'm old school, so I have preamps and compressor limiters and noise gates and all kinds of stuff before it even gets into the computer. But that's, again, old school. It requires a bunch of hardware. But now, you kids, that's right, you youngins, you have a DAW. That's right. DAW, Digital Audio Workspace or Workstation or whatever you want to call it. And in there is where most everybody nowadays does all their stuff. So, in other words, they take their microphone, they plug in their XLR cable, then they take the other end, they plug it into their little mixing board. Their mixing board gets plugged into their computer, and then they take it and they go right into their DAW. And from there, they just hit record on their DAW. Everything's gone through their mixing board. They can adjust their volumes. They can push their little buttons and add the sound effects or whatever they're going to do on their board. It all goes into their DAW, gets recorded, and then at the end, when they push stop, that's when they go in and they apply their EQ, their compressors, noise reduction, and all the other things that they're going to do. They do it afterwards. Whereas, again, old school, I do it prior, but now everyone does it afterwards. They put in the raw kind of whatever you're getting is what you're going to get, and they do it afterwards. I like to do it before because that way, again, when you're live streaming, you have more control. But again, nowadays, like OBS and everything else, they have little plugins that you can get where you can apply an EQ or a noise gate and all kinds of other things also. So almost everybody does it digitally now, where old school guy, I do it with hardware and I tweak it a little bit with the software afterwards, but mainly I do it with the hardware. Whereas all you need is the microphone, the little tiny mixing board to get you into your computer, and then you can do everything in your DAW, your digital audio workspace, afterwards. So all you have to do is turn on your little camera if you're doing it like this. Go into your DAW, open it up. Make sure that in your computer that your USB interface is what is chosen as your microphone source, not any other thing, not a webcam microphone, not any other microphone. That USB source, whatever it be, however it's labeled, you pick that, then you open your DAW, you hit record on your camera, you do some kind of 1, 2, 3 clap, and then in post, you sync it up. Go back to this video. There's a section where I show you exactly how to sync up camera audio with outside audio and replace the crappy camera audio with the good digitally altered after audio. There you go. That's about all I got. 2 main types of microphones, little mixing board, some kind of interface. That's all you need. Do a little bit of research, a little bit of homework. Doesn't take much, but I hope with what I talked about, that gets you pointed at least in the right direction, so you're not going into it blind and you're reading these things going, what does this mean? What does that mean? I don't know. It's all so confusing. I hope this cleared up a little bit. All right, before I get out of here, I want to say down in the comments, if you have any questions anything at all about audio, go ahead and post it down below, and I will read them and I will answer them in the next video. Because in the next video, I'm going to tell you some of my pet peeves, some of the things about audio and the way people do their audio that drives me insane. So I'll answer some of your questions the best I can, and I'll tell you what drives me nuts and how to fix it. We're going to go over that in the next one. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this one and got some information out of it. And as always, please subscribe. This is BlindViews. That's the way I see it.
What we do here is go back.
Loud.